Hey guys, it's Morgan coming back to you with another video. I'm pretty excited about this one. You guys know how much I like the suspension on my 23 300XC. We've got the 6500 kit valved by us, TBT. They've been working amazingly well. The shock's all revalved, stock shock, but revalved and sexy. Everything's working great. Really happy with the way the suspension's working. The folks at Intech USA reached out and said, Morgan, would you be interested in testing a set of Dal Soggio Spheres? And I said, absolutely I would. So full transparency, they gave me these spheres. I did not pay a penny for them, but that's it. No money has changed hands. They have not paid me. It is only a free set of spheres. And they want me to be brutally honest. So I'm going to be. Also, full disclosure, I've already installed them on this fork because I wanted to learn about them before I made the video. But you and I together are going to install them on the other fork. And we're going to talk about the differences between them and the 6500s, what it takes to install, what the real benefit difference, I don't know what I'm saying, but what the real differences are between the two kits, and what I think about them, whether I think one's better than the other or anything like that. So without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, guys, let's start with taking a look at the Dal Soggio Sphere insert. Here it is. It is a classic closed cartridge insert. We've got a compression valve up here. We've got a mid-speed valve that rides up and down in here. Pretty cool. One big difference is the preload adjustment. It's not as easy as on the 6500, which is up here. You can do it with a wrench. Now it's here. There's a circlip right there, and you can move that circlip up and down and preload it. And I'll show you how you can do that actually without taking the whole thing apart later. So that's that. This is our spring perch. So the spring goes here. It takes a 488 millimeter spring, so it's a little bit longer spring than some. Obviously shorter than others, but it's the same spring that goes in the Sphere, or excuse me, the same as that goes in the 6500 kit. So I'm really excited I didn't have to get new springs. The one big difference here is that you have to take the lug off the bottom of the fork. So this is not a quick change. I had hoped maybe it would be a quicker change and we could take these all out to the desert and have you guys come out and ride with me and we could just swap out cartridges. That's not going to happen because these, once they're in, they're in. It's not terribly hard to change them. I'm going to show you how we do that. But it's definitely not something you do out in the field quickly. You could do it in a trailer setup or even the back of my van, but it's not going to happen very fast, and it's not going to be a quick change like go ride, test this, and all that stuff. That's okay. So first impressions, guys, of this thing is it is absolutely a beautiful piece of art. Everything's either anodized or coated. What I can't show you on screen, but what I will try to describe is the movement of this thing. When you push this thing in, let me show you. When you compress this thing, it is so buttery smooth. Try to hold this. See if I can. Yeah, here. There we go. It is so freaking smooth. There's absolutely zero stiction. The 6500 kit is very good, but I don't think it's that good. The hydro stop on this, guys, is really cool. It's kind of like the old Huck valve. It's right here. If you guys watched my other video where I took apart the new WP forks, the new exact spring forks, the hydro stop is much longer on that, and I don't think I like that. I like this. I want like just normal damping all the way down to right there, and then I want it to catch me just like this, which is much closer to the hydro stop on my air forks that came on my 23 bike. And this is much closer to what the 6500 kit has too. I think this is probably better. It's got some valving actually right there. I don't know. I shouldn't call it valving, but it's got some bypass there. It's got these two ports that allow it to bypass out. So I really think this is probably a better setup. Now, we're going to run them bone stock valving. This is their Enduro valving. We're just going to run it like this. And then we are going to use TBT valving on it later. So make sure you subscribe and all that good stuff because we're going to be really testing these things. And I'm actually going out tomorrow night on them. So I'm really excited about that. So you'll get a first look video very soon. Compression, obviously, clicker on top, rebound on the bottom. It's got This is your bleeder hole, so you can put a bleeder in there if you want, or you can just use the screw. And then this screw is for the pressure on the inside bladder. So this has the old school bladder. I'm not going to take this apart in this video. Honestly, it's because I don't have the right tool. I contacted Dal Soggio. They're going to send me the right tool. I just don't have it. It's like a 4-pin thing, and it's full of oil. It's all bled. It feels perfect. There's no reason for me to take it apart. But inside here is a nitrogen bladder. And actually, you don't really need to use nitrogen on these things. It doesn't get that hot, so we just use air. And it takes about 26.5 psi is their normal setting, but it's cool. You can change that. It's like changing the ICS on a set of 6500s or a set of KYBs, but you can do it with an air pump instead of having to swap out springs. So that's really cool. Also, if the air thing were to fail, this thing's going to work just fine. It may be a little soft and squishy, but it's not like an air fork failing with air spring and all that stuff. So it's not a big deal that it's air. It's not definitely not a big deal like this air to spring. You know, it's not like the difference between an air fork and a spring fork as far as harshness and all that. It's just more tunable or easily tunable. So it's really cool. But yeah, guys, I'm very, very, very impressed with how this is and what this looks like. Just so you guys know, you're looking at about $1,500 for a set of these without springs. So you're going to have to buy springs. That's anywhere between $150 and $200, depending on where you get them. So let's just call it $1,700 to get this set up, but not installed. So it's pretty darn expensive. But I'm excited about it. Let's go grab my other forks and install this thing. Let's chuck it up in soft jaws. And guys, I am going to have these 6500s at the shop. If anybody wants to try them out on their bike, if you got a set of AERs, I think probably 21 and up, I think these would work on. If you guys want to try them out, you're more than welcome. So definitely let you guys use them. Oh, guys, and the super cool thing is our fork tool works on the Dal Soggios too. So yeah, we're going to flip this thing over. And this is all very simple, guys. We're just taking these out. This is not rocket science. So the 6500 kit uses this adapter that just drops right into the KTM fork, and it's really nice. I like that a lot about this kit. It's OEM to OEM, and it's not, you know, you don't have to do anything special to install it. So that's one winner for the 6500s. To be honest, it's very much just super duper easy to install. Now we got our kit here. This is all the 6500 kit, and we're just gonna slap it all back together to save it in case someone wants to use it. Like I said, just give me a call. I'm not gonna send them out. I'm not gonna ship them anywhere. But if you guys want to come by the shop, I will definitely let you grab these things. You can install them yourself, or if you want to pay me to install them, I'd be happy to do that. Don't really have time to do it for free. Sorry about that, but you guys could probably install them. And these are TBT valves, so these are not stock 6500s. But they're very, very, very good. All right, guys, here's where these Dal Soggios get a little more complicated. We got to take these apart. I'm going to do new seals and probably not new bushings because these are not very old. But I got to split these forks apart because we are going to have to take this lug off of this tube. All right, cue the internet experts who are going to yell at me for the way I'm doing this. Guys, I know you're ready. I know you want to get in there and be heard on the internet because you're super special. So, if you are at your house or shop and you don't have all the special holdy tools, it doesn't matter. All you need is a vise with some soft jaws. Crank down on that lug. Then you need a nice long screwdriver that will go through, and you can go in like this. You see it go through and into that, okay? Leave that there. Then you're gonna need a blue wrench. You're gonna heat this lug up really, really good. There's an O-ring in there, but it doesn't matter because we're taking it out, so you can cook it. You gotta get this thing pretty hot, guys. They use some serious thread locker on this thing. But you can't hurt anything. That should be warm enough. Let's see. Ooh, not quite. Gotta get her hotter. Let's see if we, there we go. Guys, the key to this is getting this hot enough that doesn't take much force. Because this is steel up here, but you still don't want to just be reefing on those little holes and deform this thing. But if you get this hot enough, she'll come right loose. All right, now I'm gonna take this over, dump it in the ultrasonic, get these two pieces really, really clean. All right, guys, got these out of the ultrasonic. Now we're gonna dry them off really well. And you take the O-ring out of the bottom of the lug. Now we're gonna take the bottom of the Dal Soggio kit off. This is the adapter. If you guys have not ever done like a KYB conversion or anything like that, this is how that normally goes. So this is not that weird. So with this, just like any other fork, you want to take this nut and spin it all the way down until it stops just with your hands. You don't have to get a wrench out. Then, I'll show you, fork tool, beep, fits perfectly. You can set this down, that way nothing gets messed up. Then we're gonna take the bottom nut out, or bolt, nut, I don't know. I guess it's more of a bolt than a nut. Now, this comes with O-rings here, everything's ready to go. It's got this plastic washer to protect this aluminum from the spring. So we're gonna take that, we're gonna drop it down in here and just set it down in. It just goes in nice and easy, nothing special. Now, we're gonna take this, shock it back up there, take our red stuck nuts, because you want good stuff on this, and we're gonna go all the way around the threads. A lot of times when I'm doing thread locker, I don't mess with going all the way around because it'll spread around as you thread it in. But with this thread locker acts as a bit of a sealant too. We got O-rings everywhere, but the thread locker helps seal too, just to make sure. So we're just gonna take this, nice and easy, and just slowly thread it on by hand while we can. There we go. Now we're gonna put some torque on it. And we're good. Again, you nerdy folks out there that know some torque, whatever. This works, it never comes apart, you're just fine. All right, now we are ready to assemble our top tubes just like normal. So we're gonna take our bullet, we got brand new seals, new travel indicator, dust seal, snap ring, oil seal, washer, outer bushing, inner bushing. Now we're gonna go together. I'm gonna Obviously, this is all exactly like any other fork seal job. There we go. Now we're ready to install our everything on here. Now I already did the other one, so I know where the preload needs to be, but I'll show you how you can change it. Now I'm leaving this spacer on here because it worked out perfectly with the other one, so I'm just gonna leave it on. Also, it makes this 488 millimeters, which is what they recommend. Which is also what the 6500 kit recommends. So, to show you guys real fast, that setup, just like any other twin chamber fork. Take our tubes, slide it over, push down. Use our same holder as you did like any other thing. We use the Race Tech one. Bottom adjuster. I'm just gonna go on by hand and run that down until it bottoms out on the rod. And then we're gonna bring that other nut back up to it to lock it in. That way we know we get all of our clicks. I run this down with the impact, just go easy. There we go. Now, with our fork tool, it protected that just perfectly. I love it. So excited about that tool, guys. Just go to highland-cycles.com and go to parts and miscellaneous, I think is what it is. I'll try to remember to put a link on there. You can order one. We ship it right out of here. They're made in Grand Junction by Moto Minded for us. 3D printed, super simple. They're $10 plus some freight. Yeah, they're amazing. Now, let me show you something. So here is the preload area. So it says it's got 10, 5, 1. Those are just numbers. It's not distances. It's not, I was thinking that it was a measurement like 1 mil, but obviously that's way bigger than a millimeter, that gap there. It's not. They're just numbers. I looked, if you have a 488 millimeter spring, which we do because of that spacer, they say to put it at 11. So I put it at 11.
To 11.
And that's it. So 10, you can see right there with the arrow, went to 11.
These go to 11.
Now, if you want to change this, you can just drop this down, leave the oil in it, and you can push down on this thing. It's not easy, but you can do it. You can push down on it and move that circlip. It's kind of a pain in the butt, to be honest, but you can do it. Honestly, if I were going to change it, I would probably just take the whole thing apart. But yeah, and by the way, we're going to be checking this to make sure that we got our travel right and all that. That's why I put the travel indicators back on. But it should be good. Now we're just going to put 370 milliliters or cc's of 5-weight fork oil in there. So like I said, 370 cc's go in here. And quick note, guys, if you're doing this, you can't just dump it all in there really fast. There's just the way these things are built, the oil kind of has to seep around to get down in there. And if you try to dump it all in, it'll spill. Don't ask me how I know. There we go. And cool thing is, now the fork cap is the same as a KYB, and that just makes me happy personally as a down deep, die hard Yamaha SSS, KYB SSS guy. I like using my Yamaha tools. So now, last thing you got to do on these is check the pressure. So this inner guy, and take this guy out. You're gonna need a needle style thing with a pump. So if you don't have one of those, if you didn't have one of the old guy KTMs that had this style, then you'll need a pump. Again, you do not need to use nitrogen, guys. You can if you want, but it just does not matter. And they say to put 26 and a half. See if I can show you. 27 and a half is close enough for me. Or 20, I guess now it's 27. There we go. So, that's good enough for me. That's close enough. And you can tune it, like I said before, you can tune these things. If you want it to be a little more plush, a little more supple off-road, you can put less in. You want to be more stiff, like an MX kind of setup, you can go more. And then obviously this is the bleeder. And let's see if we have a set of bleeders for these. Be kind of cool if we did. Boom, I do. Got a set of System Tech Racing. I'm going to work this fine. The one thing I didn't like about the 6500s is that I had to basically delete the bleeder, the push button bleeder, because because of the way the clicker and all this stuff. This is the other cool difference about these is it comes with manual clickers on the top that you can get to. Honestly, one of the things I really didn't like about the 6500 because the clicker you couldn't get to once it was on the bike because the handlebars are right over it. And anyway, this is honestly a way better setup that way. I have no idea how it's going to work and all that yet. That's why you guys got to subscribe and all that good stuff. Also, guys, got a quick mention. The biggest supporter of the channel is Rocky Mountain ATV MC, which, by the way, makes you guys the greatest supporter of the channel because when you buy using our link that's in the description below or the link you can get to from our homepage at www.highland-cycles.com, you are helping us out. You're saving yourselves money and all that. But like I try to say in all the videos, please shop local first. Please, 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 please go to your local shop, talk to them, see if they can get you the parts. See if you can help support them. If you can't, or if you hate them, or whatever, and you want to go elsewhere and you want to help us out, please use our link. It really does make a big, big difference to us at the channel. So, yeah, and I don't know if you can get these bleeders, but they have other bleeders and all that good stuff. So, boom, there we go, guys. Dal Soggio Spheres installed. I'm very impressed with everything about it, fit and finish. I like that bladder style twin chamber fork that the old WP was back on my 2012 300XC. I really like that fork a lot. Bone stock, it was amazing. Again, this is the Enduro valving. They have an MX valving. The other really cool thing about Dal Soggio is that with just an email, they sent me all the valving specs, like the shim stacks and everything for the Enduro, the MX, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So it's really, really cool. Tons of information. So if you're an amateur tuner or a professional tuner, you can get all the information you need to adjust these things with shims and like really dial it in yourself. Like I said before, we will be doing TBT valving to this eventually, but I'm going to test it a whole bunch bone stock because I want to let you guys know what you might get if you just bought them and dropped them in. Yeah, I'm really excited about this, guys. Now I got to set the clickers to what they say, which I think is 13 and 12 or 12 and 13 or 13 and 12. I don't know. It's 13 and 12. I forget which one's which. I'm going to do that. I'm going to put it back on the bike. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I really, really appreciate you guys sticking around. Punk Rock Club, you guys are my favorites. You know it. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. I love the Punk Rock Club more than everybody else. Yeah, I think that's all we got today. So we'll see you guys in the next one.